If you're getting started with Java, you've definitely bumped into loops, but you've probably also hit that classic roadblock. You've got for, while, and do-while loops, but which one are you supposed to use and when? Well, that's exactly what we're going to clear up today.
At their core, all three of these loops are trying to do the same thing: repeat a chunk of code. But, and this is a big but, choosing the right one makes your code so much more efficient and way easier to read. So the big question is, which loop is the right tool for your specific job?
So here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about why this is even a dilemma. Then we'll meet our three main players: the for loop, which I call the counter, the while loop, or the watcher, and the do-while loop, the outlier. And finally, we'll have a little showdown so you'll know exactly which one to reach for.
Okay, let's just get this out of the way right now. Technically, you could probably force almost any loop to do any task. But just because you can, doesn't mean you should.
See, being a good programmer isn't just about making the code work. It's about making it clear and smart and intentional. When you choose the right loop, you're leaving a clue for anyone else who reads your code, including you 6 months from now. It's all about picking the most precise instrument for the task.
Let's kick things off with the one you're going to see all the time, the for loop. I like to call this one the counter because, well, that's its superpower.
And that right there is the key. If you know, without a doubt, I need this to run exactly 10 times, or I need to go through all 50 items in this list, the for loop is your best friend. It is built for situations where you know the exact number of repetitions up front. So the textbook example is printing all the numbers from 1 to 100. You know the start, you know the end. A for loop is just perfect for that. But what about reading a file where you have no idea how many lines it has? Trying to use a for loop for that starts to feel, a little clunky.
And the reason it's so great for counting is baked right into how it's built. In one clean line, you define the 3 things you need: where to start, when to stop, and how to get there. It's all bundled up for you, super neat and tidy.
Okay, so if the for loop is for when you know the count, what happens when you don't? Well, that's where our next loop comes in, the while loop. I call this one the watcher, because it's not counting anything. Nope, it's just watching a condition. The while loop is simple. It just keeps on going and going and going, as long as the condition you gave it is true. It could run 0 times, or it could run 1,000,000 times. The loop doesn't know, and it doesn't care. It just keeps its eye on that one condition. This is the perfect tool for all those jobs where the for loop struggled. Remember reading that file with an unknown number of lines, or waiting for a user to type the word quit? The logic is just beautiful and simple. While this is true, keep doing this. And that brings us to our last loop, the do-while loop. This one is different. It's the oddball of the group, a real specialist. You won't use it much, but when you need its specific talent, nothing else will do.
Okay, this is the one thing you have to remember about the do-while loop. Unlike a normal while loop, which checks the condition before it runs, the do-while loop runs the code first and then it checks the condition. And what does that mean? It means the code inside is guaranteed to run at least one time, no matter what.
And just to put this into perspective, the creator of the source material we're looking at mentioned that they've almost never used a do-while loop in their entire professional career. It has a few niche uses, like maybe a menu that you always want to show at least once, but for everyday coding, it's pretty rare.
All right, time to bring it all home. We've met the counter, the watcher, and the outlier. Now, let's put them side by side for the final showdown to make your choice absolutely crystal clear. Let's break it down into some simple rules. If you know exactly how many times you need to iterate, use a for loop. If you need to loop based on a condition, and it's possible you might not even loop once, use a while loop. And in that one special case where you absolutely positively have to run the code at least once, that's the job for the do-while loop. So, what does this mean for your actual day-to-day coding? Well, the truth is, you are going to be using for loops all the time. While loops are going to be your go-to workhorse for anything with an unknown length. In the do-while loop, you'll just keep that one in your back pocket for that very specific job where nothing else quite fits. Okay, exam time. If you're studying for a test, here are the absolute must-know facts. You know the count? Use for. Reading a file? Use while. Must run once? Do while. And please, remember this last point. It's so important. Even though you can sometimes force one loop to act like another, always choose the one that makes what you're trying to do the most obvious. In programming, clarity is king. All right, to wrap things up, I've got a little challenge for you. Let's say you need to write code to process all the items in an online shopping cart.
Which loop would you choose, and more importantly, why? The answer really comes down to thinking about what you know and what you don't know ahead of time. Ponder that, and thanks for watching.